Back, everyone, to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. I am your host, Richie, here with my guy. Haven't seen him in a while. Really happy to have him here tonight. My brother from another mother, Mr. Brett Bandick, originally from upstate New York, coming to you from where the hell do you live again?
Winter Haven now.
I know where you live. I just wanted to make sure you were on your toes.
Yeah, you're Mahone, dude.
Winter Haven, Florida. My guy, Mr. Brett Bandick, a.k.a. Brett, Touchdown Bandick, for those of you who don't know. On tonight's show, we're going to be hitting on, as it's titled, Sweet 16. The New York Yankees finally bust out of that wretched slump, scoring 16 runs north of the border against their American League East rivals, the Toronto Blue Jays. Tomorrow, the rubber match. Nestor Cortez on the bump against Chris Bassett. We're going to talk about a various array of topics going on in the sports world and elsewhere. And I got a little surprise for my guest. Enjoy this intro, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back. Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. Just sent this out to some of my socials so you guys can join with us. Brett, before we get started, how's the family? How's everybody doing?
Everybody's good. The daughter and the wife are both working tonight. They might be home in like another hour or so. I know it's been a busy weekend for everybody. It's been a good day. The rain, helped my lawn cause. Helped the lawn. It hasn't rained in like over a week and a half, so it's been nice to finally get some rain. But yeah, I'm ready to go, man. It's been a hot minute since I've been on the show, and you guys have put on a lot of content. I started watching the show between you and Idris and the GOAT topic between some of the top players, and I didn't get home until 3:30 in the morning this morning, and I got about halfway through it. But I was pumped for that show, man. That was a good show you guys had going on.
And I'll be honest with you, it wasn't like we went in with the grand plan. It's just, you know how it is, man. If it's a good topic and we're keeping ourselves engaged, that's how we keep the viewers engaged as well. And that will most certainly be the goal tonight. We're going to start it out in Toronto, talk about the New York Yankees. In desperate need of a series win, but more importantly, in desperate need of just feeling a little better about themselves. And a lot of good things went down tonight. DJ LeMahieu, who recently rejoined the team after missing the entire year, finally got an extra base hit. Gleyber Torres, who was in desperate need of getting some quality swings, 1 yard, and also one oppo for a big hit later in the game. Juan Soto, 3-run blast. Jahmai Jones, of all people, a guy who's filling in because of the injuries in the middle of the lineup. You got injuries to Anthony Rizzo as well as Big G, who is nursing a sore hammy right now. And the guys really stepped up tonight. Marcus Stroman had one rough inning, but for the most part kept his composure and was able to fight through it. 16-5 victory. Yankees have been on the receiving end of a lot of these.
Yep.
And neck and neck, the Yankees and Orioles at the moment. But ever since that losing 2 out of 3 in Fenway, the Yankees kind of lost their way a little, and the energy was there. Guys were loose. They were celebrating. They were goofing. They didn't panic when Toronto knocked it down and made it a 7-5 game. Yankees turned around and just had two massive, massive innings. And I got a couple of questions for you. Number one, regarding this Yankee team. If you're Brian Cashman, what are you addressing roster-wise? What does this team need to dance into the Fall Classic?
We need some middle relief. But
Yes.
I also think that our starting pitching needs to get a little bit better. Yesterday Rendon, he got knocked around quite a bit.
3 straight bad outings.
Yeah, Garrett Cole is kind of off to a rough start. I get it. He hasn't pitched the entire season. He's off to a really cold start. I think once we get those two guys going and they can go 5.5 deep, we need that middle relief. We got to have something, to gap that bridge. Our offense can put up runs. That's not even a question in the matter. They can put up runs. We lost to the Mets, 9-7. Anytime you put up 7 runs, you should be able to win a freaking Major League Baseball game.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree anymore.
Yeah, but it just we need that middle relief. We need some kind of consistency and something to bridge the gap. I think once we get in that closing rotation, I think we're set. But that 5 to 7, 5 to 8 inning stretch, we need that relief. And it's got to happen. It's got to happen. But we had a rough start. The Fenway series didn't help out. We got swept by the Mets, crying out loud. And then we lost it.
They are playing better ball though.
And then we lost at Toronto the first, match. So, we'll see how it goes. Going to the All-Star break, I think if we get a little momentum and, we, catch a bit of a stride and we have a little fun, a little can go a long way. So, we'll see what happens, but going into this, this All-Star break, we'll see what happens, but they need to get their shit together. Bottom line, they got to get together. Otherwise, Baltimore is going to pull away with this. It's Boston, they're creeping. And so we got to get our shit together. Bottom line.
Yeah. And speaking of getting it together, and a little can add to a lot, as you said. First run of the game was really interesting. So newly acquired J.D. Davis, who was put on waivers by the Oakland Athletics. When the Oakland Athletics release you, that's kind of like rock bottom. But at any rate, he hits into what looks like a sure thing double play. Aaron Judge, being the intelligent player that he is in the middle of a rundown while Juan Soto's rounding second on his way to third. So Judge has everybody distracted.
Right.
Ultimately, it turns into a scenario where they're like, oh shit, Soto's rounding third. He's trying to score. And Juan Soto made one of the absolute best hand movements, switching hands to hit home plate. And that's what got it all started, was Aaron Judge just always having his head in the game. That's what makes him, in my opinion, the best player in all of baseball. It's not just because he could crank 430-foot bombs. It's not because he has a frozen rope arm in any position in the outfield, because he plays all three. It really depends on strategy, where he's going to be. He could play right, play center, he could play left. Wherever you need him, he will be. But it's the intangibles like that, in my opinion, make Aaron Judge the best player in the game. You mentioned Garrett Cole. It's interesting. His first start of the year was against Baltimore, a game where he was actually early on coasting.
Yeah, and they
And
pulled him.
Aaron Boone, Aaron Boone controversially pulled him. I have mixed feelings. I understand the reasoning because he had missed all that time. You want to kind of put him on a pitch budget. Ron Marinaccio comes right in, serves up a tater. We lose that game. Then the next day we lose 17-5. To your point, the Braves take 2 out of 3. The Mets sweep us 2 games in Queens. Dorney was actually
happy birthday, bud.
Yeah, happy birthday, Dorney. He's in the Dominican Republic right now as we speak. Yeah, he sent me a video. He's having a good time out there. Now, obviously at my team's expense, it's very rare that I could find something like that really cool. But the Mets have a cool tradition in Queens where they reenact a famous song from The Godfather. And Dorney was leading the chant. Probably about 200 Met fans. Some Yankee fans as well, Subway Series. But
typical Dorney style, man.
Dorney's that kind of fan. Like if you go to a sporting event with Dorney, he's gonna probably get on TV.
Yeah.
He's gonna produce a flag. It's just gonna happen. Victor Cruz, 2011, 74 yards to the house against the Cowboys. All of a sudden, Dorney produces a Puerto Rican flag. I don't know where he got it from, but he found it. Francisco Lindor, the day after 9/11 anniversary, 9/12. Big G, 2 homers. Francisco Lindor, 3 homers. Dorney once again with the flag. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, this is for your grandmother, Maria. I'm like, she was a Yankee fan. He's like, it doesn't matter. Some things are bigger than baseball, and this is for the island.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Because Dorney, I'm convinced Dorney thinks that he's Puerto Rican just because of all the cuisine he grew up on in my grandmother's kitchen.
Yeah.
But we love you, Rich. Happy birthday. Just amazing. One of the most unselfish dudes I know. He's always thinking about somebody before himself. It's an excellent dude. Known him my whole life. But today, we're going to be asking you quite a few questions. My plan of the surprise was this. Back in 2020, during the pandemic season, when I was still a member of the Jordan Patrick Show, we were doing something called Fan Focus, where we would interview guys that are friends of the show. You are a contributor here to the show. I did one of these with Idris a little bit ago, about a year and a half ago. It was a really cool episode. And tonight, we are interviewing Brett Touchdown Bandic, because unless if you were following the Jordan Patrick Show about 3 years ago, there's a good possibility that you never heard it. So I'm going to ask some new questions, some basic questions, like if I don't even know this guy. So without further ado, Brett, you are on the clock, and just bear with me. I'm going to be asking you quite a bit of questions. Number 1, where are you from?
West Canada, upstate New York, Newport, New York. Went to school in Canada, but the hometown is Newport, New York.
All right. Question 2. You said us, these, Yankees. Obviously, there's a huge Patriot logo behind your head, as well as a nice collage of Tom Brady photos there. To the viewers that might not understand, you are a New Yorker. You are a Yankee fan. You also root for the Syracuse Orange.
Yes, I do.
Being a native Orlando man now, outside Orlando, you support the Orlando Magic. I think you tolerate my Knicks. And as a kid, like most kids, you love the MJ. But this is the question, sir. How and why are you a Patriot fan? Because you might see Red Sox and Giant fans that are dated back in the day, but very rarely do you see a Patriot Yankee fan. So enlighten the viewers that don't know.
Long story short, family friend, when I moved down here, his name is Matthew Sear, out of the New Bedford, Massachusetts area. Became really good friends with him, great friends, helped raise his kids. And he was the dude. He was the guy that always took care of people around him, and he took care of me, took care of you. He was my boy, still is my boy. But since he passed back in '09, due to staph infection, um, I gave myself up to the Patriots because that's what Maddie would have wanted. Um, I don't regret it, not one bit. He's my boy, always will be. Name my daughter after him. Um, so yeah, that's. I grew up a Yankees fan. My first ever baseball game I went to was a Yankees Sox game in the Bronx, 1999. Roger Clemens versus Pedro Martinez.
I'm going to interject really quick.
Yeah.
Hold that very thought. That's so weird. We didn't know each other yet.
No.
I have the tickets right there on my Babe Ruth picture. 9/10/2001. Oddly enough, it was supposed to be the Rocket and Pedro. That game got rained out. And the next day, the world was never the same.
Yeah.
It was 9/11. We all know what happened. The night of that game, my father, myself, my girlfriend at the time, and my uncle Randy said, you know what? We made the trip out here. We're going to grill. We're going to have fun. We're going to knock down some beers. Unbeknownst to me, my father would end up working the next 60 days.
Never be the same.
Yeah, he came back that 9/12. Wild, to say the least. But it's so wacky that you bring to my attention that your first game was that particular game. That is pretty.
Yeah, 99. It was a night game. I think it was a Friday night game. It's my senior class trip, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, senior class trip. They both pitched 8 innings, 9 outs apiece, and it came down to Trot Nixon hitting a 2-run shot in the top of the ninth.
You know what's messed up? I actually remember that game.
And we weren't able to tie it. We ended up losing the game 2-0, but it was my first ever Major League Baseball game with that ever, number one. But it was a memorable thing that it's always going to be etched in my brain. But yeah, it's just, stuff like that. But, I mean, I grew up a Yankees fan. As far as a football fan, I grew up a Buffalo Bills fan.
Which makes sense given where you're from.
Yeah. My first Bills game was against the Atlanta Falcons when Deion Sanders in his prime. It was in November, rainy, overcast day. Buffalo Bills ended up, I think it was when this final score was like 41-14. And Deion actually returned a pick six that game. And we cursed at him, we yelled at him. I mean, it was.
And this is old school, so this is like, when you're talking Atlanta Deion, this is like probably right around the time when MC Hammer was running around with them.
It's that, yeah. It was 91, 92. It was 92.
Yeah.
92.
Yeah, that's around the time MC Hammer was running around with them. Jerry Glanville, Andre Rison.
Yeah.
What's crazy about that Atlanta team? Gentleman by the name of Brett Favre was just warming the bench, and they didn't even know what they had.
No, did not at all.
Now the K-Gun offense definitely did their thing, but if I'm not mistaken, Brett, didn't Deion return one?
He did that game. It was a pick six, and our end zone actually. I was behind the Buffalo Bills. I was 12, 14 rows up, and he got an earful. He got an absolute earful. We had a bunch of Elvises behind us. We had there were people with buffaloes biting on the Deion doll in their mouth.
Those Buffalo fans are a different animal. It's kind of like the college element.
But I'll tell you what, Deion, he returned it, man. Like they were getting smoked. And he still did a pick six in our end zone and still showboated and did what Deion does. You got to give the guy credit. I was 12 years old at the time. I really didn't understand what the hell was going on. You know what I mean? But when you see greatness, sometimes you really don't notice it at the time. And it was prime time. It was
Yeah,
prime time.
he could affect the game in so many ways. Kick return, punt return, shut down half of the field as a premier corner, possibly the best of all time.
He, he was on 1-on-1 coverage with Andre Reed that game.
And this is wild. So, we're great friends. We're both under the age of 10.
Yeah.
And there was a Super Bowl while this country was at war, and it was all red, white, and blue.
Baltimore. Yeah.
Buffalo and my beloved New York Giants. To this day, one of the greatest football games I have ever witnessed. And I'll be honest, with Connor McDavid in the NHL recently getting a MVP for the series, although they lost, came up a goal short in the seventh game. It reminded me, Bobby Richardson before my time, Bill Mazeroski. I said this the other night to Idris. He won MVP of the 1960 World Series despite the Yankees losing. It was a very lopsided 3 wins the Yankees had, but things happen, and they lost to a team that they'd probably beat most years. In the case of the Bills and Giants, I think a lot of people feel the same way. And I will say this: if Scott Norwood doesn't miss that kick, Thurman Thomas, hands down, is the MVP of that game. And to take it a step further, you could make a case that even though they lost, similar to Terrell Owens years later against the New England Patriots, you were in Jacksonville for that.
What's the one thing you remember the most besides Scott Norwood missed kick?
Well, Whitney Houston belting out the national anthem. Seeing the fighter jets go over Tampa, not to mention just a true feel of patriotism in the air. The other thing, too, that was a little wacky, it was hard to tell when you looked into the crowd who were the Buffalo fans and who were the Giant fans, because especially in that era, 80s and 90s, the uniforms are almost identical.
Yeah,
the home jerseys are almost identical.
It was red, white, blue. They were all wearing the same colors.
Yeah, so in that regard, it was a little wacky. California took 2 L's the week before. You mentioned Deion. I got a Deion story, too. Now, if I'm bringing up Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson, naturally you would think, oh, shit, you saw them play football against each other? No, not exactly. Baseball. I was at a Yankee game. Bo Jackson goes deep 3 times. 3 times he goes deep as a member of the Kansas City Royals. Deion Sanders, however, hits a rope into center field. Bo Jackson, trying his damnedest to make a sensational play, ends up hurting himself, failing to make a catch in center the way he landed, overextended himself. Deion is rounding third all the way home, inside the park, home run for Deion Sanders. That is my memory of seeing Deion Sanders live. It was as a New York Yankee. Many people forget that that's where he started.
Yeah.
And at the time, they called him Deion. He wasn't making a lot of fans.
He was with
Peacocks.
When he with the Reds?
He's with the Reds. He's with the Braves. He actually is the only player, if I'm not mistaken, to participate in 2 games in the same day for 2 different leagues.
Yeah.
He did not actually play in the Braves World Series game. He was on the bench, but he was still part of the team on that day. And he played earlier in the day in Atlanta for the Falcons, because ultimately what made him choose football is that with the baseball season and the way it ran, Deion would not be available until October for his football team, and especially the Falcons, who were not that good to begin with back then. They couldn't afford for a guy like that to just miss a month to non-injury. But yeah, Deion, Bo Jackson, 2 of the best 2 sport athletes ever. Unfortunately, Bo, we never know how great he would be. Go back to that 1990 season, the Bengals injury against the Bengals. Another question for you, Bretsky. It's been a hot topic. Bronny James, 2nd rounder, LA Lakers, playing with his father. Idris and I spoke on it yesterday. I'm not even going to tell you what I think unless you actually literally asked me, because I already kind of did that yesterday. What are your thoughts on all this?
Oh, please. Okay. All right. First off, I agree with Zappy. The NBA is a fucking joke. Number two, this was JJ Redick's opportunity to prove himself as the new head coach, or the organization, the owners for that matter, telling LeBron James, "No, we are not going to draft your son." Um, I think it's an absolute shit show. They're not willing to uh, make choices to win a championship. It is a entertainment industry. I get it, but at the same time, you know, the reason they play this game is to win championships. Bottom line. Bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I knew once LeBron signed his contract, his 2-3 year contract, I knew they were going to sign. I knew they were going to draft Bronny. I knew it. I knew it was gonna. I knew it was gonna freaking happen. I think it's an absolute freaking joke because there is a abundance of players they could have drafted long before Bronny. Everybody that follows basketball, that pays attention to basketball, that watches the game and appreciates it, knows that Bronny is not ready for the NBA. This is a 17-year-old kid that doesn't have anywhere near the ability and talent that his father or Kobe had back in the past.
So you see him as a developmental guy, kind of like a D League player for now.
Well, if he starts off in the D League, sure, absolutely. But the fact that they drafted him,
Yeah, I know. It was to appease LeBron.
they're
And
not
the thing that's a
they're not
turnoff.
championship. They're not in
I
it to
know.
win a championship. They are
I
there
get
to please LeBron because it's fucking LeBron. Even though they haven't won a freaking championship since 2020 in the bubble.
I get it. I get it.
I, mm,
My thing is this. I'm not saying the kid doesn't have game, but my thing is at 6'1", it's a hyper extended reach to grab him in the second round. I'm not saying he's not an NBA player. I just don't think he deserved to go that high.
no,
I'm happy he at least didn't go in the first. And the thing is, I'm not against any father helping their son, but there's a difference between helping your son and just bending over an organization and kind of putting them in a shitty position.
thank you.
And that's what LeBron did. And in that regard, I think it's a lack of professionalism. And yeah, it's just not a good look.
It's not. It's really not because I mean, you look at LeBron's contract. It's up until what 2026, 2027.
Right.
Okay. Um, he goes through that. Okay, then what? The
Right.
Lakers are still going to be around for a long time.
Yeah, I know.
I don't understand why you're
And then
trying.
you got money tied up with AD. You got money tied up with LeBron. I guess you could say the bright spots are young guns like Achimura and Reeves, but they don't have enough. Idris did say this, though, and I do agree with him. They did give the Nuggets a good series in terms of how close the games were.
Mhm.
Idris believes that if they would have won that series, they would have went to the West Finals.
Yeah, and Anthony Davis had a better series than LeBron did.
Yeah, no question.
Anthony Davis was putting up 30, 20 a game.
Yeah, he did. He played well.
He played great. He played absolutely great. And and LeBron never showed up in the friggin' fourth quarter. So
No.
yeah, let's reward the guy, that didn't do anything for us in the fourth quarter to make us advance to the next round. Oh yeah, let's draft his son. That'll make things so much better.
Another thing too, pal. It looks like it's going to be set up that he's going to be with the Lakers possibly to 2027. Oh, and by the way, in 2 years, his other son is going to be coming out and declaring for the draft.
Yeah, good for them. Good for the Lakers organization. I hope they keep fucking it up for everybody else.
Okay. Having said that, all right. Aaron Judge, torrid pace with home runs this year.
Mm.
Basically better than his 2022 pace, where he broke the American League home run record, formerly held by another Yankee, Roger Maris. Do you think Judge is going to break his own record this year?
I mean, I'm not going to say that it can't. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna
Yeah.
jinx the guy.
Yeah.
The All-Star breaks just around the corner. He's going to have time to, regroup, re-heal. Well, I mean, thank God he has not been on a IL stint for a long period of time. You know what I mean? But he absolutely has a chance to do it. But I don't think that's his main goal.
Right.
If he gets there, he gets there. But his main goal, Soto's main goal, Garrett Cole's main goal is to win a championship for New York City. And if he happens to break the record while doing that, then so be it. But I
But
don't
this is
think.
the interesting part of this. Maris, the year that he broke that record, they won the World Series. Ruth, when he set the record, they won the World Series. When
Yeah,
Judge broke the record in 22, they lost in the ALCS to the Houston Astros.
yeah.
So for Judge, it's probably like killing two birds. He wants to redo the record or at least tie the record and win it because unlike the two other Yankee greats, he did it. But the one thing to take pride in, if you are a Yankee fan, is that number one, those three men at different junctures, it's the American League record. For two of them, it was the Major League record prior to McGuire, Sosa, Bonds. We know all about the steroid era.
Mm-hmm.
For the Yankees to do it clean, kind of hits a little different and it feels a little more special. Vladimir Guerrero recently went on record. By the way, he hit a home run tonight. Recently went on record in saying that it's a business. So he's warming up to the idea of saying that he would not be opposed to being a New York Yankee. With the future of Anthony Rizzo rather murky and not looking like he's going to be around much longer, Ben Rice is young, but we don't know what his ceiling truly is. Is that something that you entertain if you're the Yankees? Because, granted, the main goal is going to be to keep Soto for a long period of time.
Oh, man.
That's like some show shit that we used to do.
Oh, man. To have Vlad on that team, oh, my God. That just wouldn't be fair.
I hear that.
And you know what? I would say I'm against it.
Or if you're gonna talk like because it's a Canadian team, you'd be like against. You'd be like against.
No, like you got to keep the playing field fair. You know what I mean? And I get it. MLB is a business. They spend a shit ton of money on Soto. Judge is the guy. Obviously, we spent money on Cole. We gave. I'm sorry. The Marlins are still paying for freaking Big G's.
Well, we're paying too, but
we are, but not as much as the Marlins were.
Well, not as much until a couple of years from now, but yeah, they will be paying him as well.
I would not be okay with it. Just because you like I said, you got to keep that.
The reason I'll be okay with it is because the Dodgers have been doing it way worse than we ever did. But I get what you're saying.
They're one of those teams now where it's either win it now or not win at all. They're doing what most teams are doing in the NBA right now. They're spending all this money for all this talent to win now. They're not looking down
a large amount of years.
I can get Ohtani, but Freddie Freeman, he's getting older. His body's not. Mookie Betts, he got hurt again. Not the same.
A lot of their pitchers have had injury issues, like Kershaw.
They're not playing.
I get what you're saying.
It's either win this year or next year or the following. There's not a 10-year, plan. You know what I mean? Like it's crap. It's absolute crap. Like you're not drafting and you're not signing players for the future. You're not picking guys for your franchise.
You're basically putting together an all-star team on your team from guys that almost exclusively came from somewhere else.
Put together is a 92 dream team.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And speaking of putting guys together, Mikal Bridges, formerly of the Brooklyn Nets, will be joining his three teammates, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo. He won a national title with these guys with Villanova. A lot of people are freaking out about the draft capital the Knicks gave up. I try to explain to people NBA drafts and draft capital is not even in the same atmosphere as if you did that in football. The Knicks, in my opinion, bring it back OG. Bring him back Hartenstein, maybe. We're still working to see if we can make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
But you're basically running it back and adding more talent where this Knicks bench next year, these two, Hart and DiVincenzo, should both be coming off the bench now, and both are going to be candidates for Sixth Man of the Year. This is one of the best three-point shooters in the league, Mr. DiVincenzo. Mr. Hart, the Iron Man, wire to wire, great defender. He's one of those kind of guys that can influence a basketball game without actually scoring a point. Not a lot of guys can say that. In different ways, a guy like Dennis Rodman can say that. A guy like a Magic Johnson could say that. He could influence a game without actually scoring a point. Not a lot of players in the NBA can say that, past, present, or future. But I guess my question to you, Bretsky, do these New York Knicks pose a legitimate threat to the Boston Celtics next year with all the added depth to the bench?
I mean, they do. I mean, they posed a threat this past year. They didn't
prior to all the bad injuries.
Yeah, they just didn't get to them. It all depends on the matchups and the scenario, but I mean, they absolutely have a shot. I mean, between the Knicks, the Heat, the Pacers, I mean, those are probably the only three teams that I can think of that can even compete with Boston at this moment.
All right, Brett.
My only problem is that OG
gets hurt a lot.
That was my main concern, and he paid him way too much money.
Well, you can't really dictate what you pay guys when it's based on the market. He's actually taken less than what he would have got outside of the Knicks, believe it or not. But it is a lot of money. I agree with you.
I don't know. I think for a guy that missed 72 games in 3 seasons, I think that amount of money is paying him way too much.
Yeah, it's dictated by the market. The NBA is one of the leagues where you could literally be a bench player or a damn near ultra reserve and get paid better than some stars in other leagues. It's because of the fact that basketball has truly gone global, and when your proceeds are that high, you can pay guys like that.
Where was he in the playoffs?
Well, he was actually very good until he got hurt.
So
but this is the thing.
Final season that you were in.
This is the thing. This is the thing. You know what the Knicks' record is when he plays?
20-3?
Something like that, yeah.
It's 20-3.
Yeah.
20-3. But the fact is that I get it. It's basketball. Everybody gets injured.
But I'll be honest. I think Tom Thibodeau
gets injured at wrong.
I think Tom Thibodeau is a culprit in part of this, due to the fact that he ran them too hard, in my opinion. I believe that I don't believe in running with short benches for that long, and I think it came back to bite Thibodeau, because Thibodeau also did this shit with Derrick Rose.
Well, he did it. I'm shocked that Brunson didn't get hurt.
Well, he did get hurt.
That man, he did, but he freaking manned up.
Yeah, but there's different levels of manning up, Brett. Some guys are just really hurt.
I know, but
if you're going to play hurt and not be able to help your team playing, then you're hurting your team by playing hurt. So I got mixed feelings on that. Josh Hart with an abdominal thing where he can't even guard anybody. Yeah, you're not helping your team if you're playing hurt in that regard. Jalen Brunson with the bad feet, he was busted up during those playoffs.
But he still came through, though. You know what I mean? Like, he just, God bless him, man.
The point is, with the moves that the Knicks made right now, they're going to be able to not run guys ragged now because of the ultra depth that they have. The Knicks see themselves in a 3 to 4 year window to win a championship or two. And this is the first time that they can say that since the 90s and early 2000s. So you're talking well over 2 decades. So it's their time to do it, whether they will or not. remains to be seen, but I have a strong confidence that they can get it done. All right, back to the interview process of this.
Hmm.
Bretsky, what's your favorite sports movie?
Holy shit.
All right,
Oh,
drop like a top 5 or a top 3 or whatever.
top 5. Okay. All right. Rudy,
Boom.
Sam, Major
Sandlot?
League.
Major League.
Rudy, Sandlot, Major League. Wow. Believe it or not, I love blue chips.
Nothing wrong
Uh,
with that.
yeah, I love blue chips. Wow. Field of Dreams.
All right, Field of Dreams, Blue Chips, Rudy, Sandlot, and what was the other one?
Major League.
Major League. I would say that I have 4 of those 5 in my top 5. So we're like-minded. We're like-minded in that regard. What's your favorite movie in general? Just your favorite movie ever. If you had to just grab one, and a lot of great movies, but if you just had to grab one,
Not a sports movie, just any movie.
any movie, it could be a sports movie, any movie, it could be anything.
Inception.
Dope. All-time favorite show.
Random Children.
Nice. Hollywood crush.
Jennifer Aniston.
You know who mine is? Anne Hathaway, bro. My God.
All right.
I saw her in that '05 Havoc. Minka. Okay.
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston has always been my number one.
Yeah, I was aware of that. For the viewers. Do the Dallas Cowboys have any weaknesses?
Yeah, the quarterback.
All right. Way too early prediction. Will the Chiefs three-peat?
No.
I hope you're right.
No, they will not.
Did the Patriots get it right at quarterback?
No.
You wanted McCarthy?
Yeah, I did.
I think May's the right choice for whatever that's worth.
Maybe, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm going impulse here, so keep it going.
Bill Belichick, young girlfriend. What are your thoughts?
Love it. God bless him. That part.
Oh man, that dude's getting hated out in a big way. Should Deontay Wilder retire?
A what?
Should Deontay Wilder retire?
Yes.
I agree with you. Will Mike Tyson kick Jake Paul's ass?
Yes.
WWE on Netflix. What are your thoughts?
Hate it.
I like it, and I'll tell you why. They're going uncensored.
That's true. That's true. I never thought of it like that. That's true.
They're going uncensored, bro. It's going to be a taste of what we saw when we were younger.
Okay.
All right. What else? Favorite sports moment as a fan?
Wow. I really got to think about this. Favorite sports moment?
It could be something that you attended. It could be something that you witnessed. I have an idea.
Wow. Wow.
You want to think about that? And I'll ask you another one.
I can come back to that one.
Favorite episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast?
Our Super Bowl show. Not this year, the year before.
Yeah, that was a good one. Another one that stands out to me was I don't know the title offhand. It's in the catalog, but when I surprised the whole panel with the "Be Like Mike."
Oh yeah,
that was terrific.
That was great. I loved our movie.
Movie show was good.
Yeah,
movie show was definitely good. Let's see what else. What else are we asking, Brett? So you're still cooking on most meaningful sports moment to you that you witnessed?
That's a big
favorite sports memory of being a fan.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I'm gonna shoot one at you.
Hit me.
It's early 2012. New England Patriots are driving, and they're able to tie the game. But take a small lead, I should say. Justin Tucker, greatest kicker in NFL history, percentage-wise, just so damn clutch. Biggest leg I've seen on pretty much damn near anyone that plays outdoors.
Yeah, you're bringing up the AFC NFC Championship weekend.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, a little backstory here. Bretsky and I, 4 years earlier, were kind of not seeing eye to eye in more than a few ways. And we managed to not watch Super Bowl 42 together. And in between the 07 and 2011, we lost our guy, Matty. So we promised each other if it ever happened again, no matter what, we'd watch the game together. So Justin Tucker shanks a very, very makeable field goal. You fast forward 3 hours later, the Giants are the second game. Kyle Williams puts one on the rug. Giants take advantage. But there's no way that Harbaugh would actually let this guy return another one, right? Oh, nope. Yes, he will. Oh, yes, he will. And Devin Thomas, who was basically a special teams guru for us that year, causes a fumble, covers. Lawrence Party Tynes kicks the G-Men to their second Super Bowl in 5 years. This guy comes out like Pat Tillman and just lays my ass out, hugs it up. One of like the coolest days of being a sports fan, because we were just so damn happy, because I think both of us knew that we had no business winning either one of those games.
Not at all.
It should have been a Niners-Ravens repeat from the previous year when it was CK7, Flacco, the light game.
I think we were ranked 27th or 28th in defense that year.
Dude, it's the lowest. You can't make this up.
Yeah.
The two lowest ranked defenses in NFL history played each other in Super Bowl 46. It goes against everything that we believe.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, the Patriots and Giants for the month of January played great defense. We had a low-scoring game, 21-17, which the Giants narrowly edged you out. We had the two TVs going on in your house. Eric Perry, he put them on to make sure that they were like exactly identically on the time. And so it was like me and two people rooting for the Giants. And it was like you and 15 people rooting for the Pats. And when Ahmad Bradshaw.
Yeah, if you want to post that picture of me in a Mayo jersey and you in the Eli.
Yeah, that was
to proof.
Yeah. Yeah, but when. Thanks for hanging.
Hey.
When Ahmad Bradshaw went backwards into the end zone, I'm like cursing. No, God, no.
Yeah.
And I get it. Eli said it best after the game. He's like, well, what if we have a bad snap? And what if we shank a field goal? You don't take points off the board. I'm like, but you don't put Tom Brady on the field and give him all that time.
Yeah.
And in typical Brady fashion, 4th and long, like, hey, no, it's not over yet. 4th and long is not over yet. Eventually we got to him. You're talking about 5 different hands touching a ball, and an injured Rob Gronkowski who toughed it out just barely misses that little basket catch. I mean, you're talking a matter of inches, bro.
Inches. It was a tip ball in the end zone.
Yeah, it was scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. For about 1 second, I thought Gronkowski caught the ball, and I was just about to like throw up on your floor. Excellent Super Bowl twice. The first one, as you all know, one of the most iconic catches in NFL history. Eli, in a lot of people's estimations, made the greatest pass of his professional career in 46. Giants became the first single win team in a regular season, only 9-win team to win the Super Bowl. They also become the lowest ranked defense to ever win a Super Bowl. If the Patriots would have won, they would have become the lowest ranked defense. That was one history point that was already made. Whoever won that game was going to make NFL history because both their defenses were in the bottom 5.
Yeah.
Giants had a bottom 3 rush. Now, when you think about Giants football, you think about power running, great stingy defense. And up until maybe the month of December, the Jet game, I think, kind of turned things around Christmas Eve. That we didn't play by our blueprint or our football culture that whole year. You know what carried us that year? 3 men: Eli Manning, Victor Cruz, Hakeem Nicks. The greatest season, in my opinion, of Eli's career, throwing for just under 5K. And in my opinion, if were it not for the kind of year Aaron Rodgers had, going 15-1, I think Eli very well could have been the MVP. Definitely made up for the Plaxico season. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's my answer for you. I asked you the question. That was my answer, though. Yeah, that's my favorite sports moment.
I mean, we can talk football all day long. I mean, and I can name a lot of football moments. One moment that stands out to me is not even football; it's baseball. The sending off of Mariano Rivera. With Tino, Derek Jeter coming out there to say goodbye. Mm-hmm. Granted, they were losing that game, but Mo came out, gave his salute to the crowd. Tino came out, Jeter came out, gave him a nice farewell. The crowd gave him a great farewell. That was touching. It was a good moment.
Yeah, because all those dudes were retiring within a few years of each other at that point.
Yeah, Mo and Jeter came up together.
I never thought I'd see Derek Jeter get an ovation in Fenway, but that's exactly what happened.
And he got the game winner.
I would never think in a million years. Yeah, I would never think in a million years. Yeah, his last at bat against Baltimore, game winner. That was insane.
Game winner.
My favorite Yankee moment. There's 2, and they're like equal.
Oh, we're doing Yankee moments. I was just doing.
I'm just shooting the shit. Don Mattingly, 1995. My dad was at the game. I heard the crowd explode because my dad called me from the stadium. I was in Florida. Don Mattingly, home run, 1995 ALDS, his only time ever making the postseason. Many Yankee fans say that Yankee Stadium has never been louder in any singular moment. My other one
was that. What about the Aaron Boone Game 7? You tell me that wasn't.
Oh, it's up there. I'm getting there. Aaron Boone Game 7 off of Tim Wakefield. But I would have to say my other one that's equal to Mattingly, given what was going on in our city, Derek Jeter opposite field off of Byung-Young Kim, Game 4, 2001 World Series. I tell people this all the time. I have never, ever been more proud of a Yankee team in my life, even though they didn't win the World Series.
Yeah.
Because
the series went 7-2.
Yes, it did. And
that
series. If were it not,
I remember the blue with the shortstop and
Luis Gonzalez. The thing is, were it not for that, they win 4 in a row. But when you consider what New York went through, it just kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
It just kind of makes sense. But never have I been prouder of a team.
What about
prouder of a team?
What about the Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire race that summer?
At the time, it was really awesome, and yes, it did save Major League Baseball. But I'll be honest with you, as an older person now, looking back at it, and considering that he rubbed out a Yankee who went through a lot of hell to have that record, he didn't get recognized. It's kind of a slap in the face to the original record holder, in my opinion. And then Barry Bonds took it a step even further. That's why what Aaron Judge has done, the real way, just makes you feel good. Just makes you feel good.
Great.
How good was that Tom Brady roast, Brett?
Are you kidding me? I loved it. Are you kidding me? Like Ann, what's her name? Ann Colster. What's her name?
Colton.
Yeah, and Coulter. I mean, dude, she murdered it.
Belichick
You
was pretty damn funny.
know, the bonk jokes. You know, me not like fake money. You know what I mean? That's dude. She murdered it, dude. I think she was one of the best stand-ups that night. You know, to see Belichick there, and you know, granted him and Kraft, you know, him and Kraft and Rob and Brady doing a shot together. I get it. It was staged. It seemed like it was planned. Maybe I don't know. Um,
Edelman killed it.
oh, Edelman killed it, dude. Edelman killed it. Um, you know, the roast master there.
Yeah, Ross.
Yeah, Ross. And everybody, you know, talks about the Kraft joke and, you know, Brady coming up to him and be like, hey, no, don't do that shit. Um, you know, I watched some interviews after that, and Ross was like, no, like he didn't give a shit. That shit was just staged. Like he didn't care.
Yeah,
Uh,
but it's a loyalty thing with Tom. And what I really enjoyed was when Edelman was imitating Belichick when he would get mad in practice and be like, "You guys can't even play for Foxborough High." And he's
yeah,
like, "Hey, asshole, that's the only job you can get now."
I know.
Yeah, because it is kind of wacky. But there's other variables as to why Belichick is unemployed. And part of it has to do with the fact that for so many years, he was a GM as well as a head coach, and I don't think any teams currently in the league wanted to give him that kind of power.
Or
If Belichick wants to coach in 25, he
or he
has
just
to.
a 24-year-old chick
Could be that too.
put all his time
That,
into
that
that.
might that might revive him. Um, yeah, I mean, she has a type. Her previous man apparently was in his 60s as well. All right. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on my New York Giants being on Hard Knocks?
I don't like it.
I don't know how I feel. I mean, it is their 100th anniversary.
You know, I don't like it, man. I really don't. You know, like I mean, I understand. You know, Detroit, Hard Knocks. You know, because they've had a long, long road. They haven't won any Super Bowls. You know what I mean? Like, I get Detroit being a Hard Knocks and actually rooting for them. You guys have a history of winning. You
Yeah, but
guys have
we have been,
of doing
it
this and
has
doing.
been it has been a rather bumpy road for the better part of the last 15 or so years.
Why not do, you know what I mean? Like, why not do Hard Knocks for a team that does not have that much history? You know, like, do it for, the Bengals. Do it for,
Well, they got history. It's just not the
yeah,
history you want.
they just don't have a winning history. You know what I
Well,
mean? So,
no. I mean, Joe Cool 2.0 has given them hope, but prior to
yeah,
that, it's a little bit of Boomer Esiason and a lot of heartbreak.
that's it. That's it.
In the
You know,
Giants' case, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, just one undeniable thing: Jets and the Giants, the two of them, pretty much since 2011, have been ass bottom in the NFL in terms of losing, and it just goes to show you how you take certain things for granted. Like Eli Manning, yeah, he wasn't perfect, goofy son of a bitch sometimes, but
mhm.
when you don't have a guy like that every Sunday he's just going to be there no matter what injury, no matter what, he's just going to be there. I
No
think as
matter
fans, sometimes we tend to take that consistent value for granted, and fuck you, Ben McAdoo. Um, Geno Smith, really, bro? Geno fucking Smith, you benched him for? Geno Smith, really, bro? Um, does Saquon play the full year, Brett?
yes,
You think he's gonna stay healthy?
I'm going to say yes.
I
I'm going
mean,
to say yes.
I don't wish it on nobody. I'm
Well,
gonna say he misses. I think he misses a couple of games, but it's not gonna be like bad.
I think he does just because they have a really good rotation. They have a really good offensive line, and they have a really good offensive game plan. And that could be, with Jalen running the ball, passing like you don't have to rely on Saquon running the ball 25, 30 times a game. You know what I mean? They have the offense to.
He's going to get the touches. I just don't think, he's also going to be more of a passing threat now more than ever because of the fact that you have Brown.
I think he's going to have at least anywhere between 12 to 15 touches a game.
I think he's going to do better than that.
That's with passing. You know what I mean? So
I think he's going to get more than that. I think it's going to be more in the 20 range most Sundays.
God, you never know. It depends on the defense they're playing. It depends what they're giving him. But I think going into a game, I wouldn't give him more than 15 touches. Just to spread the love and give him a break. You know what I mean?
But they're not paying him that much to only give him 15 touches. I promise you that.
They're paying that much to save it for the playoffs.
We'll see. I'm telling you, he's going to be a focal point of what they do, for better or for worse. Nick Sirianni having some fun.
Yeah.
I roasted his ass on the show not too long ago.
Yeah.
What else? What else we got cooking here? Okay, Brett. It's only the midway point. National League, American League. Who's going to the World Series?
I'm going to say Philly.
Really? Okay.
And I'm going to say...
they're down Schwarber and Harper for at least the next 10 or so days.
Yeah, but that's going into the All-Star break, so it doesn't really matter. I'm going to say Philly and... Oh, man. That's kind of hard to go. It's Baltimore. It's either Baltimore or us. I'm not even going to count the Dodgers because.
All right, so who's going to the World Series?
Huh?
Who's going to the World Series?
If we don't get our shit together, it's Baltimore and Philly.
So that's your final.
Baltimore,
Philly?
Yeah.
I got the Yankees and the Dodgers going. All right. What are your thoughts on all this Diddy shit, bro?
Diddy? We're bringing up Diddy?
Why not? How bad do you think this really is? Do you think that he's going to be able to dance a little, or you think he's going down in the same way that R. Kelly went down?
Oh my God!
He even got name dropped in the Keefe D Tupac situation.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I can't believe we're bringing up this fucking clown right now.
It's not that deep. You don't got to give a deep, detailed answer. Is he going down?
I mean, to put it in words that Diddy will understand, I'll be missing you.
Ha! Oh, right. Britt, anything else that's on your mind?
What? I really like what the Olympic Committee did. With Leah Thomas. Who was it?
I don't know. This is what you're taking. I don't know.
No, it's she/he won.
Okay. My bad. Okay.
Yeah. And the Olympic Committee decided to give the medals to the runner-up, which was the right call at the end of the day.
Do you believe it's unfair because of a testosterone type deal where it's like an unfair advantage?
It is an unfair advantage.
That'd be like Drago's wife fighting Adrian.
Yeah, like I don't
like that. Reference.
It should never have taken place. It should never have happened in the first place. From a man transgender into a woman, going into a woman's Olympic sport and competing.
I don't know. To me, it's not fair. It's not fair.
It's not.
Just from a physicality level, it's not fair.
And this may be a touchy subject to a lot of people, and a lot of people in the woke movement. But at the end of the day, I think the committee made the right call and rewarded the correct person.
Yeah, I just think it's just not fair. It's just not fair.
No, it's not.
What else?
Well, we covered Bronny. I'm done with that bullshit. I just want everybody to have a good 4th of July, man. It's going to be a busy weekend. Drive safe, be safe, call an Uber if you need to. Call your boy Bresky when you want to come over and hang out and get your ass kicked in NBA 2K. Anything, like that,
I want to say one last thing in closing here. To my beautiful mother, Eunice de Jesus Acevedo, it is your birthday in 13 minutes.
Oh my God.
And I just want to say, Mom, having me was very difficult for you.
And dealing with you is very difficult for everybody.
I just want to say, Mom, I could live a million lives. And I would always choose you to be my mom. Just want to say that. You're incredible. You're amazing. I'm happy you're in New Jersey. I'm happy you're with my sister. I'm happy you're with Eddie. Happy you're having fun. You deserve that and so much more than I could ever give you, or more than anything in this world could ever give you. That's how phenomenal you are, Mom. And I just want to say to my biggest fan and pretty much anything I've ever done, thank you for just always being that person for me. Dad was great too, but Dad couldn't be everywhere. I mean, even taking it back to Pee Wee football, bro. I'm over here running up the hill with Mom, pushing Mom down. I'm sure I have contributed to some of her back issues. But nah, like just everything, man. I miss my dad every single day of my life. And, God's honest truth is it makes me value my mother even more. And I just want to say, Mom, enjoy today. It's well deserved. And I will see you in second week of July. We're going to Tampa. Go see the Yanks. And that's all I got. Happy birthday, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
For Bretsky, I'm Richie. Have a great night, everyone. Like and subscribe to the channel, Richie X Jr. Sports Podcast on YouTube. Announcements to come for our next show.